Hey everybody, Rob Veno here, WagerTalk.com, WagerTalk TV with your Tuesday free plays, selections, and analysis. We're going to go NBA style here today. Short card, couple of games to look at. Atlanta at Charlotte out of the East. Then we'll move on to the late card and talk about Milwaukee and Golden State. Let's get right into Atlanta Charlotte here. Game open, the Hawks -6.5, 236.5. Currently sitting right about the same price, both side and total. For Atlanta, a couple of backups will be missing here. Reserve guard, Karis LeVert. It's been a pretty big contributor point-wise for Atlanta since coming over during the trade deadline. And backup center, Clint Capella, going to miss his fourth straight due to personal reasons. For Charlotte, big absence here. Starting small forward, Miles Bridges out. They're going to rest him. Um, we'll get into why you rest a guy when you're Charlotte at this time of year in a little bit. Schedule really favors Atlanta here. When you go over their current travel log, they've had yesterday off. After this game, they have the next 3 days off, which is unusual in NBA land. The schedule's been very favorable to Atlanta. Their last 8 games have all come with a day of rest in between. For Charlotte, they had yesterday off, but this is the first home game after a 4-game road trip. And that road trip was kind of weird. You start in Charlotte, you stay in the South, move to the Southwest. Now you're in the Central time zone, finish up in LA in the Pacific time zone, and then fly all the way back east to play this game back in the Eastern time zone. So I'd say there's a large schedule advantage here to the Atlanta Hawks. We look at the matchup and situation here real quick. Without LeVert and his offense off the bench, Atlanta probably has to get the combination of Vic Krejci and Terrence Mann to make up a little bit of that. LeVert, in the previous game against Charlotte, these two just played 6 days ago. LeVert did have 15. The combo of Krejci and Mann had 21. So they're capable of picking up the slack, as is the remainder of the Atlanta bench, which, by the way, outscored Charlotte in that game 6 days ago. 57-18, absolute slaughter off the bench in favor of the Hawks. Trae Young, about 21 for 21 from the free throw line in that game. Amazing free throw shooting by Trae. Atlanta had a huge free throw advantage, 39 attempts to 18. They turned that into plus 19 on the scoreboard. So bench plus free throw shooting really got the Hawks through, because the Hornets starters, they did outscore the Atlanta Hawks starters 92-66 in that game. But I think Miles Bridges, 31 with 11 boards in that game, it's going to be sorely missed. They really can't replace him. Let's take a final look at this game. As I mentioned, the bench and free throw advantages were hugely in favor of Atlanta. I don't know if that changes here. You're not going to have the same type of numbers, but they probably should win those two categories. With all of that, advantage-wise, they won the game by 13 at home, 123-110. Charlotte resting Miles Bridges. To me, it just indicates they have no interest in winning games anymore, maybe even playing them close. We'll see. But their bench is so thin and so inexperienced that when you rest Bridges, there's really no replacement for him. There's nobody his size other than Yusuf Nurkic to come in, and he's a center. Otherwise, you've got a bunch of guards off the bench here for the Charlotte Hornets. So Atlanta should be able to take advantage. Hawks are still in a battle for that 7 seed. That comes as the top play-in spot, home floor all the way through if necessary. So they're only a half game ahead. You'd expect them to play well here. Mentioned the travel situation is tough on Charlotte. The absence of Bridges is tough on Charlotte. I think Atlanta, they're on a 2-game losing streak. I think they bounce back here. Number 6.5 seems pretty fair. Charlotte hasn't played a lot of defense of late. We'll use that as the free play for today on this game. Atlanta -6.5. Before we get to the next game, let's go ahead and make everybody aware of the current deal just issued today from WagerTalk.com. You can get up to 16 days free, depending on how quickly you purchase this all-access package by the month of April, $2.99. Get every day of March that remains for free. That covers all of these postseason tournaments that are going on right now in college basketball. So once again, you can buy the month of April, receive the rest of March absolutely free. We also saw today that Major League Baseball has begun. So you get baseball plays, NBA, college hoop, 16 days free. 7-day all-access pass is usually $99. So the 16 free days comes to $226 in added value. Go ahead and purchase now. You can get it at WagerTalk.com or on my homepage, wt.buzz/RV. 16 days free. By April, get the rest of March for free. Let's look at Milwaukee and Golden State. Interesting situation here. Reported very early this morning by a lot of injury sites that perhaps Steph Curry would be rested in this one. We see the line absolutely switch favorites. Golden State opened here -3, total of 234, turns into Milwaukee 3.5, 227.5, a 6.5 point plunge in the total on the news that Steph would be rested here tonight. We're going to get into that situation a little bit here. For Milwaukee, the duo of Giannis and Damian Lillard each are probable here, as is Gary Trent, their backup shooting guard. The only absence for Milwaukee will be backup center Jericho Sims. So Milwaukee's in pretty good shape. They had yesterday off for travel. It is their 4th in 6 nights. Golden State in the second of back-to-backs here at home, so no travel, but also for them 4th in 6 nights. Really no advantage for either side there. Let's get into this matchup, though. Each is off of a home loss. For Milwaukee, we saw it the other night. Oklahoma City walked into their arena and absolutely beat them wire to wire. Last night, we saw Golden State at home play a Denver team without Nikola Jokic, without Jamal Murray, and still lose. Somehow, some way, they get beat by Denver. So both teams entering off losses against championship contenders on their home floors. Kind of angry moods for both of these teams, I would think. Let's get into the prospect here of resting Steph Curry tonight. Head coach Steve Kerr had something to say about it. His exact words are this, and he's talking about all three now. He's talking about Steph. He's talking about Jimmy Butler. He's talking about Draymond Green. When he says, we've been able to keep them at 35 minutes max for the most part. I think their minutes are fine. We're playing 10 people. I'm not worried about that. We have to get into the playoffs. We can't worry about a couple of minutes here and there. We don't have that luxury. Every word of that screams that Steph Curry will be on the floor tonight. Whether his shooting has gone a little bit downhill the last couple of games. Golden State has had back-to-back subpar scoring outings. A lot of that due to Steph's three-point shooting. When he's off, Golden State doesn't have a lot of three-point shooting behind him. If Buddy Hield and Moses Moody aren't shooting, then Golden State can be in trouble. Last night also showed they're way too little inside. How about Aaron Gordon starting at center, scoring 38 points against Golden State in that smallish lineup that they bring to the table? Denver had a 53-38 rebound advantage, plus 15 without Jokic. Bucks bring Giannis and Brook Lopez to the party tonight, so that could be an issue. Take a look at this one, and then we'll get to the final selection here. As I mentioned, Golden State, 105 last night, subpar for them. 97 on the board, subpar for them. And it's against Denver and the Knicks, who haven't been defensive forces at any point of this particular season. Golden State's 1-5 against the spread last 6. Milwaukee really not much better, 2-4 against the spread in their last 6. Head coach Doc Rivers, generally I'd say he's just throwing his team under the bus again, and maybe he is. But he had a comment that said his team didn't understand the magnitude of the game against Oklahoma City the other night, and Oklahoma City did, and that's why they got beat. And Milwaukee better understand tonight. I mean, they're in a heated battle over in the East for playoff seeding. Golden State in a heated battle over in the West for playoff seeding. I think you'd probably get maximum efforts out of both. With Milwaukee, they're an enigma. Certainly when they look good, or when they play well, they look absolutely great, like championship contenders, but just as often, they look mediocre at best. I think that these injury chasers probably pushed this total down far too low. It started 234. It's now 227.5. Reading Steve Kerr's quote, I have to believe Steph is playing here. All the stars will be on the floor. I think Steph's shooting bounces back tonight. I think 227.5 is a number we can take advantage of here. So that's going to be your free play for today on this particular game. Milwaukee at Golden State over the 227.5. On the way out of that, I'd like to ask everybody to hit the like button if you like the selections and analysis provided here for free each and every day by WagerTalk handicappers. Go ahead and hit like. Hit subscribe. Join the 197,000 plus people who already have. If you have a comment on this game or any other game, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I try to get to them as quickly as I can. For now, this is Rob Veno saying good luck with all your plays. We'll see you next time on WagerTalk TV.